All right, Mr. Engle?
Good evening, Councilperson. It's nice to be here. I'm used to playing to a much larger crowd, but I'll do the best I can this evening. You don't get that big a crowd over here.
Could we just have your address, President Engle?
My address is $52 million Highway, Mount Bethel, PA 18343. Let me give you the good news first. It's still September, and you're lucky because 1st of October I'm turning over a new leaf. No more nice guy. But I'm here in September. I heard some people refer to the TIF amendment is a done deal. I'm a little bit baffled because I am not aware that it's a done deal. I'm not so sure why you are voting tonight, quite frankly, but I understand the dilemma of the time constraints. As of Friday, I talked to Mrs. Leeson. She still was not on board, and I did talk to Mr. Spurk earlier, who assured me she did get these documents that she supposedly wanted from June 8th. And part of the dilemma with all this has been Mrs. Leeson's unwillingness to come to the meetings trying to resolve this. And I give the mayor and Mr. Spurk credit. We met several times. They didn't bother to come. And eventually the city agreed to my proposal for all practical purposes. I think it was a fair proposal for everybody. I don't think the school district is still on board, but I think the difference is, I want to say on behalf of myself and the council and Mr. Stofa, because I've talked to him, and that is that we basically don't want to get involved with what you do with your TIF. Frankly, 10 years ago, I don't think anybody would have dreamt you'd have made this kind of headway in 10 years. So who are we to tell you how to do your TIF better? My concern always was, and I was the originator of this, was the breaking up of the dollars. But that's now been resolved. But again, there is some question still as of Friday. Again, you're throwing documents around today, but as of Friday, Mr. Mazziotti, the Director of Finance at the county, and I both basically had the same things we wanted changed in that agreement. And it wasn't in the numbers, it was in some of the wording. We wanted things shored up and a lot more concise as to how certain things would be done. And I think that's easy enough to do. But again, I'm a little bit hard-pressed to believe that the school district is on board as of this minute. It could be a wonderful possibility, but I'm not big on wonders. Are they on board?
Well, I think the school district, correct me if I'm wrong, they have their meeting on Monday, I believe. And that's,
Well,
if they were to vote on it, it would be on Monday.
But have they agreed in concept? In other words, do they now have the documents? Does Mrs. Leeson, who's the spokesman for the school board pretty much, the same as I, the county, is she agreeable as of today to the corrected agreement to modify the TIF in its entirety? Is she satisfied and says she will recommend to her school board, this is the thing we want to do?
President Engle, you know, the questions go through the chair, but that's an important one, so Attorney Rhodes.
By the way, we have no clock in Northampton County. We allow people whatever it takes to get the message through to us. It's
You're
very
running your take your time. Go ahead, Attorney Rhodes.
The answer, President Engle, I hope that they are on board. We have been working hard, many hours, with both their counsel and their finance officer to share ideas, to negotiate the terms.
So the key word here is hope.
Yeah, I think
They haven't
that-
said to you, we're on board.
No, they did. What they did is they accepted, they received our first proposal that outlined the structure of the 65-35 split and all that. Then they came back with some counter proposals, which we have largely accepted in whole cloth. And the rebate agreement sort of reflects all their, I hope, all of their points. The best we can do is to essentially accept what they asked for and say, are we there? As I said before in the committee meeting, there's been quite a bit of time spent.
Is this 5-minute clock on him or I right now, by the way? Don't make. We'll make it quick.
All right, the finance officers and the pro formas we've been trying to make sure that they agree.
All right, thank you.
So that Ms. Goldberg can
But you
tell
would
them.
agree that I, representing the county, have gave you literally no problems. It was a dollar thing, we gave you the dollars, and we're pretty much on board.
I
But
absolutely.
in the case of Mrs. Leeson, who didn't come to any of the meetings, her stuff is way beyond that scope. Her scope is she wants to decide what goes over there and who owns what, and frankly, we don't care what goes over and who's what. You're doing a good job at that. We want some dollars.
Agreed. The rebate agreement is largely a negotiation of many of their additional terms.
And what's before everybody right now is basically my original agreement that she thinks she's tweaked because then she feels better. And I don't mind if she thinks she feels better. But anyway, I guess in summing it up is, you're going to vote tonight on that agreement?
Well, it's on the agenda now.
It's on the agenda.
There will be.
I don't know how you can do that. I understand time is of the essence.
Thank you, President Engle.
Okay, and my counsel, you may want to hear this last thing. My counsel has authorized me to sign the agreement if in fact it meets our approval with those small terms. If not, they've also authorized me to have the solicitor bring a suit. It's the last thing, and I'm not threatening, it's the last thing we want to do because frankly, we don't want it. They may at the school district, I'm not so sure what they want. But it's a shame we all three couldn't work together. And I just want to say to you, we, the county, worked with the city and I think had a good solution.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and it's always nice being here.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Mr. Shire?
Bill Shire, 1890 Eaton Avenue. I just want to second what Mr. Bergentas said about the membership of the zoning hearing board. Incidentally, I don't think that their decision on the Elias Farm Market is what precipitated this ordinance, because that predated the case of the Elias Farm Market. So I think Solicitor Thompson is wrong in his letter on that point. But Mr. Bergentas makes a very good point. If you have 5 members and 2 are absent, although attendance has been good recently at the zoning hearing board, but if 2 are absent, you're down to 3 again. That means 2, perhaps, could decide whether or not an appeal is granted, and we'd be back to square one. So I have to agree that it would be good to have 2 alternates. And that would be a relatively easy amendment for you to make. Thank you.
Thank you. Dean?
Dean Brook, 555 Spring Street, Bethlehem, Lehigh County. And I too have to think about what I heard this evening, about all the questions that you people have, and you want to vote on something that's this important. It only shows to me one thing, that you have questions in your mind that you're not sure if this thing should be done. So I have to go along with some of the other people have recommended. I think things should be toned down a little bit. And when I heard what these gentlemen have professed and said this evening, I heard them give remarks to the statements that they were asked questions of. And when I hear the word, I think, that just shows me one thing too. I don't believe that they have all the answers correctly in mind. And I want to thank you for allowing me to speak this evening.
Thank you. Any other public
Thank you,
comment?
Mr. Engle.
Ms. Fungrax?
My name is Mary Pine-Ratz, and I live at 321 West 4th Street. I'm rather appalled at the behavior of some people who spoke tonight. There's no need to scream at council or anyone else. Now, before I give you my tirade, I want to say that some of us qualify on age and beauty. I qualify on age, and Mr. Engle qualifies on beauty. So now, what is all the argument about? How long can you study a particular program before it becomes redundant study? I am in favor of the TIF, the steel staff. There's been hundreds of hours, thousands of fundraisers, and I know because I get a letter every time I have one, that you can't sit here forever and argue about, I don't have enough information. The information has been out for quite a long time about the plans for steel stack. It is not something that just arrived yesterday. If you were to ask me what I think about the Greenway, you have heard me say that I'm not your #1 fan, but it serves a segment of our population that has long been underserved. Our teenagers who need a safe place to enjoy each other. Guaranteed, I will not be skating down at the rink, I'm sorry. But at any rate, stability should reign when you get up to speak at a public meeting. What is the alternative to say we don't want the TIF to be used? So we have invested millions upon millions of dollars. We have resurrected a brown field of an unbelievable size, which has become an attraction. You do not have to go to the casino. That is your choice. But the fact of the matter remains that the Sands have been a cooperating agency in this city. Now, to deny the development, further development of steel stack is, in my opinion, equivalent to treason. There is a project that will benefit the city, not just in money, but in opportunities for employment, opportunities for our elderly to enjoy music, dancing, etc. And Mr. Engle will be my partner. But anyway, I hope you don't mind my teasing. But at any rate, the fact remains that steel stack will be a benefit to the people who live in this community. We will have a new TV station. We will have an adjunct of the Smithsonian Institute. Now, isn't that a coup for a city the size of Bethlehem? We will have a World Cafe. We will have 24/7 decent entertainment. So why all the fuss about whether or not we should use the TIF? To me, when you lose an opportunity that is being presented to us at this time, we lose completely. And we do not benefit the citizens of this community by denying the TIF. Again, I am appalled at the behavior of some of the speakers at this podium tonight. It is never necessary to scream to be heard. To speak softly and to speak intelligently is the way to go. Screaming does not make you respected by the people who are listening to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?